Hi, my name is Odette, and I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm a working woman. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite tea time treats. It's an upside-down pineapple cake, and we're not even going to bake it in an oven. Yes, you heard right. This is a stove-top cake, right? You can also make it on the braai. Our secret ingredient for this recipe is WoodenSpoon Yellow Baking Margarine, the affordable kitchen hero with the creamy taste and its perfect fat content for baking. So here's what we're going to use to make our upside-down pineapple tea cake. We're going to do it in two parts. So we're going to start with the topping and then we're going to move on to baking the cake. For the topping, we are going to need about a quarter cup of WoodenSpoon 80% Yellow Baking Margarine. We're going to use a half a cup of brown sugar, a tin of pineapple rings. You are going to have to hold on to that juice because we're going to use both the rings and the juice in this recipe. And for the cake, we're going to need about 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose cake flour. You can use self-raising flour, but if you like me and use all-purpose flour, remember to put a tablespoon of baking powder in it and a pinch of salt. You're also going to need about a tablespoon of vanilla essence and 3 large eggs, a half a cup of milk, and remember the juice from the pineapples. And then of course, our star ingredient, which is 125 grams of WoodenSpoon 80% Yellow Baking Margarine at room temperature. Because it's an upside down cake, we're going to start with the caramelized pineapple topping. So you're going to need a skillet or a frying pan that's about 10 inches in diameter, like the one that I have over here. We're going to start by melting the WoodenSpoon 80% Yellow Baking Margarine in your pan or your skillet, and this is going to give us that rich, creamy and glossy base. So let's get that melted and all around the skillet. Then we're going to take our brown sugar, add it and start stirring. You've got to stir this continuously because you don't want to have any lumps, and you want to have the brown sugar caramelize and not burn. You can see that the brown sugar is now nicely dissolved. We want to give it a minute to just start bubbling before we add the pineapple rings. Okay, our caramel sauce is looking lovely. It's starting to bubble and it is now ready for our pineapple rings. So remember I said don't discard of the juice because we're going to use that in the cake batter a little later. So you take your pineapple rings and you place them into the caramel sauce, right? Just around, because this becomes your golden crown of your tea cake. Let's hold on to this juice because we are going to use it in the batter of our cake a little bit later. Okay, that looks beautiful. All the pineapple rings are nicely positioned and the caramel sauce is looking golden brown. So let's turn that off for a minute and we're going to set our skillet aside. So for the batter, sift all your dry ingredients together in a bowl and then we're going to set that aside. I've already done that, so I have my flour, my baking powder and my salt already in my bowl. I'm going to set that aside because now we're going to get our star ingredient for our cake, which is WoodenSpoon 80% Yellow Baking Margarine. We're going to put this in a bowl and then we're going to take our white sugar and we're going to cream that together. All right, so we've been creaming, so we add the eggs in, one at a time. You can see our cake batter is already starting to form. Okay, now next we're going to alternate our dry ingredients with the pineapple juice and the milk, and then we're going to make a smooth cake batter. So half of the dry ingredients into the bowl, half of the pineapple juice, and half of the milk. Get the vanilla in there as well. Let's give it a mix. So we're going to pour our batter over the pineapples in our caramelized sauce in the pan. And we want to spread it evenly to make sure that the cake also bakes evenly in our pan. Let's get that spread around evenly like that. Beautiful. So you want to turn your heat down to medium, and then you put the lid on, and we're going to leave this to bake in our pan for about 35 to 40 minutes. Let's get back to our cake. It smells delicious. Oh, and it looks delicious too. You'll know that the cake is ready when it looks firm on top, but we're going to do the toothpick test, right? So you insert the toothpick in the middle of the cake, and when it comes out clean, you know that your cake is baked all the way through and it's ready to come off the heat. There you have it, a stovetop pineapple upside down tea cake made with WoodenSpoon Yellow Baking Margarine. This is a very easy, quick, affordable, and absolutely reliable recipe. So go on and give it a try. From the Willerton kitchen to yours, see you again next time.